So I look like I'm ready to go to the gym, right? So I'm popping in today with the Booktube at the gym tag. This was created by Brian over at Bookish, and I was tagged to do this video by my buddy Jack over at the Rambling Raconteur. Now, if you expected to click on this video and see me running while answering these tag questions, I hate to disappoint, but I am not that talented. I know Jack was able to multitask and get some of his cardio in on that bike while answering these questions. Bravo, my man, but I just can't do that. And I'm not one of those people who glistens when they sweat. I pretty much just look like a drenched mess. So I will spare you that, and we will just get into the prompts. Prompt number 1 is bench press. Gives you a chance to show off. What book are you proud of having read? For this one, I think I have to say the Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. Now, I've only read volume 1 of this, but obviously it is a heartbreaking historical memoir about Solzhenitsyn's time in the Soviet gulags, and so there's an extreme amount of brutality and torture and murder in this book, but it's so much more than that. It's oddly hopeful, and I feel like Solzhenitsyn had a lot of philosophical meditations in this book that really kept me in the game. I feel like if that book had been solely about the brutality and nightmarish circumstances that he lived through and saw, I don't know if I would have stuck with it, but because there were these little slivers of hope and humanity sprinkled throughout the book, it really kept me in the game because I never knew when they were coming, and it really had a lot of very impressive literary elements to it. So I feel like if you're dismissing it because you feel like this is just some very depressing historical account, maybe don't dismiss it offhand. Give it a go. Prompt number 2 is leg day. Lots of people skip leg day. What book, genre, or author have you skipped because you don't think you can handle it, or do you wish you'd skipped? I think for this one I'm going to say The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And I was really excited about this book because this book was billed as one of those mystical, sort of magical realism tales that could really expand your mind. But I really found it very shallow and surface level. There wasn't anything too profound in it. And when I say shallow, I mean we're talking kiddie pool here. I do think that a lot of people's perceptions and opinions about this book are influenced by the fact that very influential people build it as this very deep meditation on life. And I just didn't see it as such. I saw it as kind of a cute fairy tale with a few moral and life lessons embedded in it, but not much more than that. Prompt number 3, crunches. We all know crunches are good for us. What's a book you read because you needed to gain a better understanding of literature, your work, history, etc.? Well, I used to work at a Civil War historical site as a historical interpreter, and so for this question, I am going to say the 3rd volume of Shelby Foote's The Civil War series, because that's the volume that specifically dealt with the site that I was at in Virginia. And then I'm also going to throw in here Lee's Lieutenants by Douglas Southall Freeman. And I can't really say that I've read all 3 volumes of Lee's Lieutenants, but I have read a good bit of that series, and I did find it very helpful as well. Prompt number 4 is The Treadmill. It's all about endurance. What's a difficult or long book you powered through? Well, this book wasn't very long, but it definitely dealt with a very difficult subject matter, and that is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I read this book last year, and because the subject matter is so delicate, and because I am a teacher, I really found this hard to read. The premise of this book is that a young girl is abused by her English teacher at a boarding school. This book really put you in that young girl's head, and you really got to experience almost with her the struggle of reconciling this trusted figure in her life with this monster that he is exposed as being in the book. So, very difficult read. Prompt number 5 is Lat Rose. This is all about feeling good about yourself. What's a book, an author, or genre you read because it makes you feel good or brings you joy? Well, let's go with the obvious, guys. I'm going to say JFK all the way. Anything that I read that has anything to do with JFK is an automatic win for me. I mean, if I gave star ratings, automatic 5 stars. Prompt number 6 is Squats. That heavy weight can get you down. What's a book you found depressing but you pushed through? You know, you would think I would say Gulag Archipelago for this, but I've already told you that that one was oddly uplifting. The one I'm going to go for here is A Woman in Berlin by Anonymous. And this is a personal diary account of a woman in Berlin who is living through the Soviet occupation at the end of World War II. The loss of dignity and humanity and the just sheer depravity that is brought out in this book is so horrific. This book was shocking, even to someone who was aware of the historical context and the massive amounts of rapes and suicides and, you know, disastrous things that happened in Berlin in 1945. It was still just shocking and depressing and deplorable and just any negative adjective you can think about, throw that in there. But I could not put it down. I really could not put it down, and I worried about this anonymous woman. And what's really unfortunate is that this is a story that still happens in war-torn countries, and unfortunately they're anonymous to most of us, but they're someone's mother, they're someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's wife, and it's just very difficult to think about these things happening. Prompt number 7, bicep curls. It's easy to overdo these. Name 2 authors you've read too much. I can't really think of any. I'm someone who really tries to diversify what I'm reading, and so I really have kind of random, eclectic, all over the map reading taste. So I really don't have authors that I think I've read too much of. Prompt number 8, tricep dips. The triceps are too often ignored. Name 3 authors you need to read more of. The first one I'm going to go with is Larry McMurtry because I'm currently reading Lonesome Dove, and that book is so phenomenal. Even though it's a Western, and I don't like Westerns, it really reads like a piece of cinematic literary fiction, and it's just such an endearing, entertaining story of friendship. I can't say enough good things about it, and I'm almost sad to finish it because it's just that good. The second author I'm going to say is Sam Kean because I just read The Ice Pick Surgeon with Lady Jane Books as a buddy read, and that was a very easy to read nonfiction. I really liked his writing style. It was very conversational and entertaining, and so I'm interested to see what other pieces of nonfiction Sam Kean has written. I also want to throw in Peter Swanson because I read 8 Perfect Murders, I think, last year, and after I read it, I loved it. It was such a fun little mystery. I said, wow, I really need to read more Peter Swanson, and I've just never gotten around to reading more Peter Swanson. So if you have read any of his stuff and you have any recommendations, please make sure you shoot me a comment because that's one I don't want to forget about. Prompt number 9 is tag some people to share their literary workout routines. So I'm going to tag some people, and you're under no obligation to share gym footage or go all out like some folks have and actually do a workout for this video. And I don't even know if these folks like working out physically, but I know they love their literary workouts because these folks read some really awesome books, and I've gotten some great book recommendations from these channels. So the first one I'm going to go with is AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. The second is Anne with a Book. And the third is Hey Y'all Listen Up. I'm also going to tag some people that I am currently doing buddy reads with. I'm going to tag Gemma over at Gem of Books, who I'm reading Lonesome Dove with. I'm going to tag Jane over at Lady Jane Books, who I'm reading Lolita with. And I'm going to tag Katie at Katie Reads and Rants. We are about to start The Entangled Life. And I'm going to throw in one more. Pay over at Attention just came back to Booktube. So if he hasn't done this tag, please go for it. Love to see what you do with it. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you're getting your workouts in, literary or otherwise. But I'm going to sign off here, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.